Good morning, everyone. We are one shy of a quorum, but Ms. Overstreet will be joining us shortly. We have representation from District 5, just not the council member from District 5. Good morning, everyone. I am Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, Chair of the Zoning Committee, and I would like to call this meeting to order. I am joined by council members Amir Faroki, Jason Dozier, Liliana Bakhtiari. We constitute a quorum. I will make a motion to adopt the agenda, seconded by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Please open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
4 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda is adopted. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, seconded by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Please open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
4 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes are approved. Next up on our agenda is public comment. We have no members of the public signed up to speak. Next up is ordinances for first reading. There are 6 ordinances for first reading that will be sounded at the next full council committee meeting on August 19th. No action is needed today. Colleagues, with your permission, we are going to jump to the one held item that is ready for action. If we can read in item number 17.
Good morning, council members. Item number 17, 240-1130U 2418, an ordinance by council member Alex Swan to revoke the special use permit approved pursuant to ordinance 050-1942 for a nursing home for property located at 556-560 St. Charles Avenue Northeast and 573 St. Charles Way rear and for other purposes. And the request is to amend to add the recommendations from MPU, Zoning Review Board, and staff.
I'll make a motion. You want to speak to it first? Go ahead. Okay, I'll make a motion to amend, second by Councilmember Bakhtiari. Please open that vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed.
4 yeas, 0 nays. The item is adopted. Councilmember Juan.
Colleagues, I appreciate the opportunity to be before you today to speak to this legislation. In 2005, the special use permit was negotiated between the operator and the surrounding neighborhoods. This is a kind of a non-conforming use within a single-family residential street in Atlanta. There were 6 operational conditions established at the time, over the last 19 years, the operators continued to violate at least 4 of them on a regular basis, including as recently as last week, knowing that this legislation was before us. As we all know, SUPs are a privilege, not a right, granted by the city. Oftentimes, our council members, we will negotiate SUPs conditions with communities so that any sort of non-conforming use can, at best live side by side with the next door uses. And I think we need to make sure that we respect those efforts and demonstrate that we're willing to enforce them and that there are real consequences for non-compliance. I've spent the last 19 years, and Jennifer Odd before me during her term, trying to establish or bring the operator into compliance. They've really just been defiantly unwilling to do so and blatantly disregarding it. This was one of those unusual ones done in the past where SUPs today have certain timelines so that you can revisit it periodically. And I mention that because this does not preclude an operator from continuing going forward. It hopefully will bring someone to the table willing to negotiate with the city and the community and establish a replacement SUP that is consistent with what we do now. And so with this, I ask your support in passing this ordinance.
Any questions or comments? Councilmember Bakhtiari. I will make a motion. I will second Councilmember Bakhtiari's motion to approve as amended.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable as amended.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Colleagues, we have been joined by a glowing Marcy Collier Overstreet on an otherwise dreary Monday morning. And with that, we will turn back to ordinances for second reading. And without objection, we can take items 7 and 8 as a block.
Item number 7, 24-013-17, Z2430, an ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from residential general sector 2 to multifamily residential for property located at 421 Connell Avenue Southwest. Staff, NPU, and ZRB recommendation is approval. And item number 8, 24-013-18, Z2431, an ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from residential general sector 2 to multifamily residential for property located at 431 Connell Avenue Southwest. Staff, NPU, and ZRB recommendation is approval.
Any questions or comments? I will make a motion to approve. Second by Councilmember Dozier.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Those items are favorable. Next up, we can take without objections items 9 and 10 as a block.
Item number 9, 24-013-24, Z2440, an ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from residential general sector 5 and light industrial to mixed residential commercial for property located at 126 Hilliard Street, 89 William Holmes Borders Drive, and 380 Decatur Street Southeast. Staff, NPU, and ZRB recommendation is approval. And item number 10, 24-013-15, Z2428, an amended ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from residential general sector 3 conditional and single-family residential to residential general sector 3 conditional and single-family residential conditional for property located at 3750 Peachtree Road and 3717, 3727, 3741 Vermont Road Northeast. Staff recommendation is approval conditional. NPU and ZRB recommendations approval conditional, and the request is to hold both items.
Motion to hold. Second by Bakhtiari.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Those items are held. Without objection, items 11 and 12 as a block.
Item number 11, 24-013-16, Z2429, an amended ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from single-family residential Beltline overlay to single-family residential conditional Beltline overlay for property located at 1407 Beecher Street Southwest. Staff and ZRB recommendation approval conditional. NP recommendation is approval. Item number 12, 24-013-27, U2417, an amended ordinance by zoning committee for a special use permit for a non-residential use or establishment exceeding 7,500 square feet in an area in which alcoholic beverages are sold or consumed on the premises pursuant to section 1644007-12A for property located at 1042 Northside Drive Northwest. Staff and ZRB recommendation is approval conditional. MP recommendation is approval.
Any questions or comments? I will make a motion to approve as amended. Second by Councilmember Dozier.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Those items are favorable as amended. Item number 13.
Item 13, 24-01199, Z-2416, a substitute ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from single-family residential to planned development housing for property located at 2194 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Southwest. Staff and ZRB recommendation approval conditional. MP recommendation is approval. And the request is to substitute this paper to rezone the property to PDH.
I'll make a motion to bring forward the substitute. Second by Councilmember Bakhtiari.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before us. Any questions or comments? Then I will make a motion to approve as substituted. Second by Councilmember Dozier.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable as substituted. Item 14.
Item number 14, 24-01321, Z-2436, an ordinance by zoning committee to rezone from single-family residential beltline overlay to single-family residential beltline overlay for property located at 718 East Avenue Northeast. Staff and ZRB recommendation is denial. MP recommendation is approval. My request is to adverse this item.
Thank you. Councilmember Faroki.
Yeah, I'll move to hold it. I'm in conversations with the homeowner and just want to get clear on it before we make a decision on it. So I'll move to hold.
Second.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. That item is held. Item number 15.
Item number 15, a resolution recognizing and acknowledging the City of Atlanta and Fulton County Recreation Authority as a governmental entity and public body corporate and politic acting for and on behalf of the City of Atlanta and Fulton County, Georgia, for a governmental purpose in its operation of the publicly owned State Farm Arena and certain related parking facilities is exempt from regulation under the Atlanta zoning ordinance, including the sign ordinance codified thereunder, and to provide certain assurances regarding interests of AFCRA in future parking facility locations related to and provided in support of the arena in order to facilitate the sale of certain real property by AFCRA, which will provide a significant benefit to the City of Atlanta and for other related purposes. The request is to substitute this item.
Motion to bring forward the substitute. Second by Councilmember Dozier.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before us. Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, just for some clarity on this legislation, the State Farm Arena and some of the parking facilities tied to State Farm Arena are currently owned and held by Atlanta Fulton County Recreation Authority. With the current ownership, there are some city ordinances that do not apply, because, particularly tied to the signage ordinance, because it is in a public trust. The parking facility is potentially being sold to a private entity, CIM, as part of the larger Centennial Yards development. And with that, we want to make sure that the existing exemptions from the signage ordinance remain, even though the ownership transfers. So that's what this legislation essentially does. And we just want to add that clarity to the public in case there are any questions about what's happening with this legislation. Move to approve on substitute.
Got a motion to approve on substitute, which I will second. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed.
5 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable on substitute. That completes our legislative items. One comment before we adjourn. This is the final meeting for the attorney who has fearlessly staffed this committee for the last little bit. Just wanted to say a public, on the record, thank you to Ashley for everything you have done. Yeah, we're gonna miss you. Thank you very much. She actually does not want to do that. So, all right, you ready? With that, we are.
Bang it hard. Really hard. Do it. We do it together. Do it together.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
You slammed that gavel unladylike.
That's right.
That's Marcy style.
That's right.
I was in honor of Mary. Goodbye.